although I did wear ping. But you wouldn't believe that when I was little, I was scared to go to school. I was not somebody that would do public speaking events, but somehow I hosted my morning announcements. And now I am hosting a podcast weekly. So I'm a co-host of a podcast from 9 to Zom. We talk about balancing the 9 to 5 and managing the beautiful chaos that motherhood is. You can see my two little boys right here. And they're really behind the whole of my walk piece. My full-time position is with YPC Media. I'm the marketing director, and we help brands be found, get noticed, and generate leads. And today we're really here to help individuals, brands build and empower themselves through sales. Over to you.
A few years ago, I walked into a sales meeting, and one of the questions was, how can you help us make more money? Little did they know that I'm a sales expert. So I asked them, well, where do you want to go? 2 years from now, how much money would you like to be making? I am Diana Kleps. I specialize in sales revenue channel, expanding the footprint for products and services nationally. I have sold to Disney, Goldman Sachs. Today, my kids are on TV. I manage their accounts. You might have seen them in over 5 different commercials nationwide. In addition to that, I am a consultant. I specialize helping individuals and businesses elevate their revenue streams. This is me. This is back in the Dominican Republic. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, moved to the state about 20 years ago, came to New York City. And why I chose this picture is because it resembles what I am today. Always trying to find something. I'm sure many of you can relate, either in your job, relationships, in your title, building partnerships. It's challenging. Let's be honest. It takes a lot. And this picture here is still relevant to what I do today, either in my personal brand, with my business, or working on some of the relationships. Sometimes we have to choose which ways do we need to go. What do we need to prioritize? So that is key. Let's watch it.
And I think today we had some fun on this area, so hopefully you're lighting the mood. But we want to hear from you. We're here to all learn from each other today. So we're going to be asking you lots of poll questions. So we encourage some engagement. But what is the worst sales tactic somebody's used on you? Who's got one that they can give us? What's the worst one that you see? Or you all just have those people. What's the worst one that is?
It's the top answers right now, like always today. Like, or do you want?
And end of deals.
Yeah, well, yeah, when they pitch something to you and they don't actually take time to research. You need me, and I'm like, so I don't identify with what you're trying to say. Your puppy mark? The pop?
Yeah. Anybody else have a good one?
A big phone call to my boss. Assisting live and meet that number you're asking for, and then retreating to their desk and folding the phones to their mouth and not actually talking.
That's different. That's very. What about you? We know more.
They booked time on my calendar for an exploratory call to start to meet.
That's the myth. Oh, that's very.
Skip. Sorry. I very much feel for the people that go into sales to people's houses. It's a very bad, especially because I have a new baby. 6 o'clock at night, next somebody.
You're like, don't ring the doorbell. Like, that's got them.
Yeah. So I totally felt for the guy, but I'm like, yeah, you're getting it really bad. It's sad.
Through the sales component of every business, industry, or products, there's a lot that we need to navigate. As a sales expert, I started my career selling shoes in New York City. That was hard. I didn't speak English. So how do you sell shoes, essentially, to people without understanding the language? And it was more about the need. I would complement them with the little words that I knew, and I turned that into a conversation. Today, that's exactly how I see the expertise of having sales individuals. Some of the top individuals I know across the financial industry, tech, real estate, is about identifying the needs and actually listening. Not focusing so much on the sales pitch. That's important. Beginning to connect. This, as mentioned, understanding the audience. What is your sales proposition? What pain points are you solving? That is key as we navigate through the sales process. So when you are selling either your services and your marketing, just don't go out out there without doing some research. It takes 5 minutes to either Google the business or the individual. And when you are about to start that conversation, definitely acknowledge something that you have seen on the internet or on the media or on LinkedIn. Highlight, hey, I saw this commercial and it really resonated with me. Or highlight the individual. I saw that you got an award. Congratulations on that. We might have something that can elevate and help you win more awards. So whatever the case might be, you need to be able to find that connection. What school did I go to? Are you an alumni there? That has been personally one of the best strategies that someone used with me, is relating to some of the information that I have already available online and connecting with me in that way.
Okay. And it makes the message a lot more authentic. So had to be really taking the time to do the research, as you all just mentioned. It was something that made you relook at that message and not ignore it just right off the bat.
Katie is a marketing expert. Katie, what have you seen that it's beneficial from the sales component when you as a marketing expert is trying to reach out to businesses? What do you recommend?
Definitely that connection, building the connection, knowing the best contact method to get a hold of that person. If it's a cold call, of course, you're learning, right? You're going to learn whether it's a phone call, do you text, is it an email? What's going to get them to respond? It may be that you have to give them a few times. There's a ton of different stats in marketing of, somebody needs to see a social media ad 11 times before they even think about converting. So something that relates directly to sales. They may not read your first email. They might not read your fit, but continuing to really drive that home and finding the right method to get in touch with them is super important.
That brings us into the sales psychology aspect of things. Rejection is real. No one likes to be rejected, either in personal relationship, on calls, or being ghosted. As we know, that's the new term now, when somebody's just not responding to you. One of the strategies that we can implement when we are selling is understanding that it's not personal. They're not rejecting you as an individual. They are rejecting that offer at this point in time. I have gotten hundreds and hundreds of no's throughout my career. And the way that I have reframed the no is next opportunity. No is just next opportunity. They might not need your services at this point in time. They might not be ready for you for many reasons, and you do not know what that could be. It could be restriction in budgets. It could be that they are not expanding. It could be that they just don't have the time for you. So warm follow-up. There's a difference between the warm follow-up and the cold follow-up. Cold calling, reaching out, trying to start the businesses. The one aspect of it is when you have already spoken to that particular prospect and just reaching out to them and letting them know, we spoke about 6 months ago. We have this new offer that might be of interest to you. Introduce that. Remind them that you have already spoken, because now you are a trusted individual in part of their network. Introduce new services. Just reframe the message. You have to come back with something new. Expand the offer. Make sure that you give them options as well.
Yes, options are super important. And our team at YPC Media, are one of our, really important pieces when we bring customers on is keep in touch with that personal aspect, like you were mentioning. Take notes. Make sure you have notes on these and create, little identities for each person that you're connecting with, so that you have that personal component of, hey, how are your kids doing? How was that commercial? Or you have those pieces that you can pull back out and get them back comfortable with you. The other point, too, that I wanted to make was knowing who the decision maker is. So you might be getting a no because they're not a decision maker. So understanding their role, asking them tons of questions is going to be really important for that, too.
And build up the relationship with the gatekeepers. Let's be honest. Many times I have been rejected through my career, either for the sales pitches that I have given or the introduction, is not necessarily because my message is not coming across. It's because that particular individual is not ready or they are not the decision makers. So you have to build those relationships with the gatekeepers. You see those assistants that nobody wants to talk about? You do want to talk to them. They will be the one making sign for you.
They know how to reject you.
Yes, that's right. Or make time for you. Let's make sure that whenever you see somebody with the assistant title, those are my best friends, to be honest with you. At the end of the year or during special times, send them a thank you note. It doesn't cost you anything. I personally am a big fan of handwritten notes. I know a lot of people don't do that these days. Like, go to the post office, I get my post note, my stamps, and I say thank you. And sometimes I have done it when I have gotten rejected. And I let them know, I know that this was not the right time for us, but I am open to continue the conversation next time. Please keep me in mind. I have even sent $5 gift cards to individuals, just thanking them. And guess what? I have gotten business from that. Hey, Diana, I saw that. That was really nice of you. How about we have that conversation once again in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, adding that timeline.
What other tactics do you have when you get a no? besides the good part.
Well, we already know that it's not personal.
Yeah.
We know that we can use different processes to reach out to them. Another one, or once you get rejected, add the time on the calendar to follow up. I think that that's really beneficial. And you do that today?
Asking for coaching, asking them, why are you saying no? Was it something, is it me? Is it something wrong with our offering? Getting that feedback so that you can make that adjustment for your next pitch. Yeah.
So doing marketing on the processes that you guys utilize, can you tell us a couple of examples of why you guys have been rejected? How have you been able to turn that around?
Yeah, I think, on the marketing front, so our company is selling individual marketing components to small businesses. And a lot of the time that we get no is budgetary. It's the easiest no. So that's why asking something, and, I'm going to maybe quote Mel Robbins a few times today. If you guys have read that, but to ask 5 times why, it helps you drill down into the real reason of the why they aren't, because that person is just so easy to just say, I don't have the money. I can't work with you. Okay, well, why don't you have the money? Do you not have the funding? Is your business doing well? Is it not? And really keep going and drilling down so that maybe you can help overcome that obstacle at the end.
And sometimes people might not be willing to provide that information. Financial data is very private. So let's be honest. Yeah. There is definitely certain ways that you can reframe those questions, not necessarily asking about the financial component of it, but can we revisit this conversation 3 months from now when you are ready to launch our new services? How about if we reconnect after the new operations officer or CEO comes into play? Because transition and leadership can be a big component as well, when you are trying to sell a product or services to individuals, because you do not know if that new leadership is going to be accepted or rejected of any offerings that you are projecting. Gender bias is real. Let's be honest. Either because of your title, your gender, or your appearance, people might assume certain things about you. I have been, unfortunately, in that position where people might not assume my skills or expertise just because I look really young. I have walked into so many meetings and people telling me, shouldn't you be in high school? Especially when I was in finance. I was a commercial relationship manager for multi-million dollar companies. For example, the New York Yankees were my team. I was managing assets for them. And so the conversation go, how old are you? That is none of your business. I'm old enough to manage the money. That's the bottom line. So listen, you need to own it. You need to own your value. You need to own your expertise. And like you mentioned, just because you are a woman doesn't mean that you cannot make the decision, that you can have the budget. So gender bias, keep cautious of that when you are selling, right? So you have to make sure that you are being aware of those different biases that can impact your success.
Absolutely. Yeah. So switching gears a little bit, who's using social media as part of their selling strategy? A lot of hands. That's good. What channels have been most effective? What's your favorite social media channel to cast? Everyone is late there. Correct.
When we say effective, we are talking about revenue. Are you getting revenue from Instagram or anything? Yes. Okay. So, is there any other social media channel that you feel that you should share with the audience that other people don't know about? Because remember, everybody's in different industries. So I would love to know if there are other social media channels that you want to share with the audience so they can also get some traction there.
I mean, I'm not, but like interests I've heard, it's pretty good. I mean, I go on just to get ideas. Sure, that's a good channel.
Pretty else.
Kind of funny one, but my friend on Hinge, and they're a little bit selling on Hinge.
See, listening Hinge. For those one does not know, Hinge is the dating app. Yeah, that dating app. It sounds like a really hot guy home with a bagel. So just so I like Then like, why is the bagel publications? XYZ is the old bagel story. She's I know. So now I'm bagel. Marketing people. We could be that here. What else? What have you seen out there that it is working? What can you tell us that can be used by older individuals here? Yes. Talking about
I think I would Facebook, but
like yeah, that mean what?
Your business, yes. And there, it's just you without the other whatever. It's like they wanted me in there specifically. And you could just chit chat in there because you could say whatever. And it's just fun. You do like fun things and they get to know you through that.
That's great. That's a great.
Yes, there's one more. It's about community now. It's called School, SPOOL.
Hey, write it down.
And I'm testing it for like selling digital courses, but it's a community kind of like Facebook where people can comment and talk to like-minded people about business.
All right.
Yes. Oh, I did have a bit. It's question to the group. So for everyone who raised their hand with social media, it's interesting. Are they mostly product to be exhibited? I sell more high-end contracts. So I am in public relations, and my contracts are over 60 years. And know my client and you were developer, etc. So are not so selling on social media, but I'd like to understand how you if you're not with product to these, how you think about social media and sales tool if you're not a selling of a digital comment or
Yeah. Great question. Yeah. And I think so from a marketing component of it, those higher ticket items, you have to really pre-qualify someone before you're even reaching out to them. And, I think on the top of both of our lists is LinkedIn. Being integrating there, it shows everyone's title. There's stats that I think it's over 70% of people have bachelor's degrees or higher that are on LinkedIn. So you have to evaluate your channels, all of them. For me personally with our podcast, I'm actually surprised no one said TikTok. It's been really great. We're reaching out to working moms and getting them to digest quick content. And that's been really great for us, but Instagram's great too. So service-based industries are super difficult. And this is something that, I deal with it on a day-to-day basis is how to get in front of, I already hit home on decision makers, but how do you find who's going to sign that contract for you? Because it can be really difficult. You could be trying to get into too many different employees that work at that company, but really evaluating your social channels and then finding that in connection is going to be great. And
Sales Navigator? Do you know Navigators? Yeah. Does everybody know about Sales Navigator here?
Yeah, it's an amazing tool.
yeah.
Yes. So Sales
No, you guys.
Sales Navigator is the selling platform for LinkedIn. They offer 30-day free trial typically, and then after that, you can operate with teams around $80 or so at this point in time. It gives you so much data. It gives you access and titles and decision makers at certain companies. I highly recommend it. If you're not utilizing it today, you should. It's worth it.
And the LinkedIn Premium.
Yeah.
There's LinkedIn Premium. This is something different. So make sure you
Sales Navigator. That up. I actually was at LinkedIn last year when they were revamping the AI components of it, and they were teaching sales experts like myself on how to utilize it.
Yeah.
And you can, just like you mentioned, filter. You can filter the industries, you can filter the titles. Are you looking for director levels, senior levels individuals? And you can get all that data and then you can reach out to them. And specifically, this is something that you speak about. Don't just do cold emails. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, that's fine. We have to address AI in sales, right? There's a different sales tool that integrates AI in some component. And it's definitely a really great tool to come up with a different way to say the same thing that you do. But how many of us have seen something you can start identifying what's been written by AI? There's no personal touch. They have all the famous emojis that are in the same messages over and over. And you can tell with that. So with Sales Navigator, you have to find a way to stand out through your message. So there's tons of other tools too outside of, LinkedIn too. One that we've used is Zoom Info. That's another one that would be good. I don't know. Do you got a quote on price on that?
It depends on his enterprise. So you are in. So it's a little like depending greatly.
So depending on your business and who you're really able to for.
Yeah, so for birthdays, so on throughout, I use social media to get people, like most of us would, off of social media. So I'll do LinkedIn and then offer free webinars that funnels them into that. And then for people who are like not the decision maker, but because I'm a leadership communication and public speaking coach, so most people are like, I need that, but I don't know if my boss would pay for it. I offer them as an incentive, a template of like, let's talk about what you can actually say to them to convince them. So they get coaching around how to sell, right, much to their loss. That's like an incentive, or like on Discovery Call, I might offer that. So just a way to funnel them in that doesn't feel sneezy.
Providing the eligible value also there. Yeah. And then that gets them to appreciate that connection. Next time they're in that meeting with their boss, they got, hey, look at this download I've got. And it's, okay, I'm going to attend this webinar. Do you want to do it with me at that? It's more personal.
They get to know like the windows, like when, the first thing you use Zally now,
You get the insider. Oh, it's horrible.
Because Sales Navigator look at any psychographics. I mean, I help change makers become authors through books and content. And I've been thinking a lot about using that, but it's not so much the title, it's in the attitude about if they perceive themselves as wanting to have a legacy or something like that. Is it allow you to do that?
The demographic for that, if you see anybody with a title a sticker, absolutely. You can search by categories, by titles, and typically on LinkedIn, for example, we use about 3 or 4 different taglines on what we do. Marketing, it could be marketing specialist, a speaker, writer.
Builds out that ideal persona. And that's something everyone can take into account here is when you're trying to figure out who buys that big ticket item or who's going to buy your product, you have to build out who that ideal is. I mean, big corporations, they've named them. They create who that is and give them a name and really just they're like, let's find people that match this persona and, try reaching out because it sounds like that may be something someone doesn't know they're ready to.
I've done the personas. I was really more specifically about the tool, and I haven't done the free trial. I had done the other in one and not found it particularly useful. So,
But it's also have to add to that, it kicks on. You cannot say a tool is not useful or didn't work for me if you just get your 24-hour career track. Then you have to invest the time to learn how to utilize it. Do lessons learned, search what other people are doing. There are a ton of videos on YouTube, for example, how to find writers on Sales Navigator, for example. You might get a clip on that. That could be beneficial. And this is why we're asking these questions because my expertise and your expertise might be different, but if we share that and we are intentional, the results will be there. Yes.
So my only thinking is this, and I lived in marketing world. I live in sales world now, and I'm cognizant that I'm sitting like 4 feet behind this lovely marketing person that I know. What we're doing is we are compressing sales activity and marketing activity. I can tell you I would spend hours trying to figure out Sales Navigator. I would have been better served sending LinkedIn messages to people that I know and networking that way. So my view now, I just started earlier this year a campaign through somebody else who specializes in my field, who said, I can build the campaigns for you. I know the language. I know the compliance requirements. I'm in finance. I know how all of that works. Let's give this a try for 4 or 5 months. He has expanded my reach in LinkedIn exponentially.
I do want to talk about building content on your page because it can be great core sales messaging too. So you have a big network. How are you utilizing that? And how are you asking people in your network for referrals? Today's a great example of that. Meeting new people, getting them to follow you, to engage with you where you're posting content, but you need to put content out that's going to engage, inspire, educate, that is going to get people to come follow you. And sometimes it's not always just cold calling and following. You want to be the thought leader in your industry and in showcasing that, whether it's on LinkedIn and TikTok, any different area.
Mention referrals. How do you find is the best way to ask for referrals while also making it very easy? Like when you ask to make something else, has to be easy, has to be straightforward.
Yeah.
You also want to be.
That is the correct question. I think that it differs per sector. So I have worked in the West Coast. There's a different personality and approach there. When we're being in New York, I have felt that it is, if you don't do for me, I'm not doing for you necessarily. And sometimes it takes a little trust. If I'm going to give you my client's name, I need to know that you're going to deliver and that you are not going to make me look back. And that has been consistent, my experience in New York. In other regions, that might be different. So I'm not sure what sector you are in or where you work at all. But I do think that in order to answer this, regardless, number 1, don't be afraid. Number 2, showcase why they should give you the referral. Why you? Because chances are 20 other people are asking for the same thing. So are you building a relationship? Are you willing to give something back? Are you following? Are you commenting on their social media? Are you giving them referrals back? Work it or give them options. Are you saying that whenever you go in asking somebody for something, be ready that they might ask you for something back? If you say nothing everybody's trying to make more sales, more revenue. So just be ready that if you're asking somebody for a referral, tell them, hey, for example, Katie, I know that you have a podcast. I introduced 3 people that she already know. Katie has a podcast. Yeah, I know already. Still, going to tell people about it. I will think it's beneficial for you to utilize what you know and your network to also elevate the other person's either business, what their idea, what they are need to do, or their funding needs. If you know somebody in finance or as a VC and you have a partner or a friend that is looking for investors, let them know about it. When you are ready to need a favor, hey, remember that I told you about the idea and I'm launching my marketing platform now? Do you know somebody that can help me? They're going to remember you. So just make sure that you are ready to give something back is what I will say. Anybody else have some thoughts on that? Yes.
I just have a question. Like, I'm just starting out with my business, and I'm wondering how important are our websites at this point? Because I've been trying to invest a lot in my website, but I don't feel like anybody goes to a website anymore. So
So websites are super important. So with the rise of AI is going to be tracking information from websites. That's where it's go. So as you build, it's called GEOs now, or generative engine optimization. But as you have your website, AI is gonna pull content. I mean, there's some a theory going on right now with Google of 0-click, searches. People search and they never click on anything, and people are running ads. People are paying for those spots, but people just search it, and Gemini's copping out whatever information, so that they're pulling that data from websites. They're pulling it from listings. So if you have physical locations, it's super important to make sure you had your Google, you had your Bing, all those places claimed. But website's going to be your home base for everything, and you're going to want to utilize it. So, I mean, strongly recommend everybody has their own website, whether it's for you personally, for your business. You need to use it as your home base, as well as your social media channels. Those are also part of who you are, and having that all branded together is going to be really, really important, especially when you have new customers searching you out. They want to look and see, on your website, do you have testimonials, reviews? And it's so hard to get those when you start out, but all you can say, you can't go ask, you can ask friends and family that have seen you do your work and get you started. But websites, top of the line, you have to have.
I don't have a big social media following on Instagram. I have 70 followers. I started recently, okay? But on LinkedIn, I have a larger follower. And in my older platforms, I have 120,000 followers. But it's not under my name. It's under one of the organizations that I run. So there's a component of that. Just because I have 70 followers doesn't mean that I don't have that networks elsewhere. So that comes into the bias component that we spoke about. Number 2, there is a lot of tools out there that capture those emails. Beehive is one of them. Are you guys familiar with newsletters? Does everybody get newsletters? You familiar with Beehive? Are you familiar with Substack at all? No. Okay, so Substack is a free platform where you can write content and you can become a thought leader on whatever it is. I write a newsletter on leadership because I have great exposure to different channels, and it's just to get my thoughts out there. I'm not getting paid for it. I enjoy it. And every time that somebody signs up, I get their email captured. Eventually, I'm going to develop some products or services, and I'm the owner of that. On LinkedIn, I also have a newsletter, but LinkedIn doesn't give me the emails. Yeah, for that is proprietary to them. That's your worst.
I just wanted to speak in regards to that. So one of the best ways I found with email is to go to whatever you're doing, like clients or your favorite people who read your newsletter, and go to them specifically saying, what do you love the most about this? What are the best tips that we have in you? And then you could you like Katie or something, but I think we're moving more towards I'm starting to do more like free audios so that people get an audio, like they only get a private podcast. Nobody really watches videos you have to know you're up, because my audience are super busy. They're parents, they're leaders. And so they're going to be in the car or driving, walking. So I reach out to who you love working with, or who you loved who's on your email list, and hold it. And then maybe incentivize them by giving them a $5 gift card. Some people have any swag, get them swag.
And you can do that through partnerships. Let's remember that you do not have to run your business alone. You have partners, okay? So sponsors, partnership. For your podcast, you guys have some partnerships, right?
Yeah, and think affiliate mode. How can you help? The connection you make today. Since we've been chatting, like now, oh wait, I had somebody that could work with Diana. She's got people that she thinks should come on my podcast, and you have to keep working off of each other. I do want to address one thing with the Instagram really quick. There is a program called ManyChat. If a lot of you follow a lot of influencers, you can see if you do follow somebody, it automatically sends them a message to, you could add that go to sign up for my newsletter. That's just from a follow. You can have them do that. I think it's just compatible with Incident Notes. But also a really good one. So if someone comments, it automatically comments back. So people taking out of it for you. But I mean, think about it. TikTok almost went away. There are people making a living on that platform, and it can be really scary when something like that happens. But having diversify your portfolio, whether it is between your website, your social media channels, all your different pieces of content from there.
Just be prepared to diversify. You need to invest some time on just not letting any tool on your data. Your emails should belong to you. Your followers' information, you need to be strategic about it. If Instagrams were to shut down tomorrow, what would you do? So honestly, that's why I didn't focus so much personally on the Instagram component until he was like, getting evenings. I'm like, okay, I get it on that, fine. Something else to manage. But the point is, you need to diversify. You need to manage it. You need to be consistent with it. And there are so many different tools nowadays that can offer that automation. Yes. I have a question, right, Beto?
I guess it just sparked from what she mentioned about reaching out to her customers and clients. I make commercial lending, so relationships are super important. And I think as you get intimate with some of your followers or your clients and you build that relationship, it's not out of the order to ask them, do you know anyone else that I can help? You obviously appreciate what I do for you. And I'm just asking if there's a warm opening you can give to someone that may need my help.
I think that's awesome too. And thinking of referrals don't have to just come from your clients. They can come from non-clients too. But at being able to ask your current client lists, whether it is you send emails, but we try to train our team that at the end of every call, hey, who do you know that maybe can benefit from some of the things that I'm helping you with? Is it in your industry? Is it outside of the industry? And not being scared to ask for that, especially when we were talking about rejections. Okay, it doesn't work for you. Like, who might you know that you heard my pitch? What do you think that somebody that you could connect?
You spoke about industry adjacent. That should be a word that you know, okay? Not just a pocket. If you are in commercial lending, for example, look for adjacent industries to that. That being brokers, people move from jobs to jobs. People decide to go into other companies. So just don't focus on, this is my target today, and this is all I need to focus on. Try to expand that a little bit more. Expand your horizon.
So I was listening, and there are people who are just starting their businesses and people who have been established and never use social media. Just where would you start? Like, if you're not on social media, you never use it for selling, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, where you start, how do you make a decision, any advice?
I think LinkedIn is a great place to start, especially if you've gone that you have your brand together. I think LinkedIn's a really good spot to individually connect and see what people actually do. Then you have to really build out your persona and figure out, okay, is my ideal client on LinkedIn? Maybe not. Maybe I need to switch over to Instagram because that's where they are. And then what do they like to see from me? I'm going to put it on there. Ask polls, ask, every current client list, ask people today. Ask them, hey, this is what I do. If you're, elevator pitch and say, where do you think my customer is? Where do you think I should be? It's great to get opinions from everyone to hear where they're at too. I feel like when we started talking about it, it's just, there was like, I'm not on Instagram. I have 70 followers. And it's like, our podcast, that's our best one. We're almost at our 10,000 and we're, it's our best one. So it just depends on your industry. But I do want to take one quick poll. How many of you are in service-based selling? Okay. Is anyone in product-based? Okay. Interesting. Okay. I just wanted to preface that. There's the conversation that we had has been really great. But any other closing remarks?
I would say last slide for
Bobby's hand is ditched our slides. We appreciate all you guys did.
Add better questions, not give better pitches. it is so tiring and to just go in and pitch your services. How about you take the time to understand the client? That can be a deal breaker. Master follow-ups like is a fault in short, not an afterthought. Be ready to always follow up, be strategic about it. I just got a follow-up last night. I was speaking to a woman about a vacation that I want to go to. She sent me back in the middle of the night a flyer with my picture in it at the location that I want to go. I'm like, oh my God. Now I can picture myself there. She used Canvas because I know her business to create it. It took her 5 minutes. She took some script. If you are in marketing, if you are in sales, how strategic is that? When you are doing your next pitch, customize your presentation to the color brand of that business. That doesn't take you much time. It's just strategic, it's relatable and memorable.
Absolutely. Toast remarks, but I think social selling is definitely the way of the future. Identifying yourself on there, even if you are affiliated with, a business or anything like that, is important for you to have that on there and be the thought leader on the social media channels that work for you. But I think that's all the time we have. So again, scan a QR code. Our business hairdresser, we would love to connect with you all today. Thanks for coming.